New discovery in our out of this world lead, those geysers of vaporizing water erupting from Saturn's moon Enceladus. Those geysers contain an essential chemical for life as we know it, the chemical phosphorus. This comes from analysis of data from NASA's Cassini spacecraft. The Cassini spacecraft, which orbited Saturn and among other actions, actually flew through those plumes. Now, scientists already think an ocean of liquid water exists under the moon's icy surface. But even though phosphorus and other chemicals detected on Enceladus are necessary for life on Earth, scientists are not yet ready to say whether any form of life exists out there. But the truth is out there.
Yes, it is. We're still looking for it. We're also still looking for intelligent life, too. None on Earth. But all right, guys, welcome to the show. We really appreciate it. And we got another video talking about this moon around Saturn and how there might be some evidence that there might be life on there, or perhaps we could colonize it. Even though I think it's a little too far away, it's from the sun, I'd say it'd be a bit cold. But it's just the thing's covered in ice, you know.
Yeah, I think what we have here is a case of some geologic event under an icy moon, but
well, it does it all the time. You know, it's actually, I think, one of the reasons Saturn has its rings is this particular moon. It's one of the things it does. It spits out a bunch of water, like a lot. They'll get into this in this video here, and let's go ahead and check it out.
There's some exciting news from the JWST telescope. One of Saturn's moons, Enceladus, is one of the best candidates in the solar system for having life. The moon is completely covered in ice, and there's evidence that under the South Pole is an ocean 10 kilometers deep. That's almost as deep as the Mariana Trench. In 2005, scientists discovered that Enceladus had cryovolcanoes, which were shooting plumes of this ocean into space at 400 meters per second. NASA had a spacecraft fly by and collect a sample of the ocean from space, and determined that it had most of the chemical ingredients needed for life. Since then, more than 100 geysers have been identified on this moon. Last week, JWST's first images of Enceladus were released. It observed a giant plume of water shooting more than 9,600 kilometers into space. That makes the plume over 20 times bigger than the moon itself. So this is how we saw the plume before, and this is how JWST sees it. It is so much bigger than anybody realized. Scientists are shocked by how well JWST observed the moon and by the results. They're still studying the chemical compounds within the plume, but the entire team is hoping for signs of life.
First thing I gotta say is, wow, looks like it has a jetpack on the back of it, the moon, right? The way it's projecting, I don't think it's really pushing anything. The size of it, the weight, you know, but I find this interesting because of several different reasons. We don't know what kind of environments you can get life in. And I find this interesting when it comes to marine life and also small biologics, whether or not life could survive there because of all how cold it is in ice. It's an interesting prospect. I don't know if we're going to be able to go there, but we'll see what happens throughout time, I guess.
Well, to me, I look at this and, you know, we know that life doesn't come from non-life, and all of these estimates started with the Drake equation, and that assumes that if you have it assumes the evolutionistic, the model, okay? It assumes that you'll get abiogenesis, that you'll get life starting from nothing if you just give it enough time and chance, and, you know, chemicals brought in on meteoroids, and it's just, to me, all of that is absolutely silly, and we don't see that in the real world. So I wouldn't expect there to be life there.
Well, the thing is, I think why people are interested in it is because the idea that this might be proven by this moon. You know, that's what they're thinking it might do. It might prove their theory of how life is created. I tend to agree with you on that. I think it's a far-fetched idea, but I also think the idea of transpermia is far-fetched as well.
Yeah.
It's something that we're just going to have to wait and see if that theory is proven right. More than likely, it's going to take a long time because I think we're going to have to go there ourselves to actually figure that out, whether or not that's true or not. There's also Europa, a moon on one of the other planets, and a few other places people are interested in when it comes to life. I just don't know if you're going to find it there because of what you said. You need the proper building blocks, and life doesn't come from nothing. It needs something to catalyzes it. We did an interview with uh, James Tour about this, and Dr. James Tour, and he has questions about this theory as well, and also transpermia. He's more willing to go with transpermia, but the thing is, where does that life come from?
Right. Right.
It passed the buck. But I think this is interesting scientific theory and thought. But I look at it as it's going to take a long time before you find out whether or not it's true.
On Earth here, they have a couple of different companies. I've seen a short documentary on one of them, and they're making a craft and they're using it in the Arctic oceans. And they intend at some point to send a missile-like structure that will burn its way through that ice and get this capsule, this ROV, into the water in that moon, Enceladus. And they want to remote pilot it around somehow, or I don't think that the connection would work. So they're trying to handle a bunch of different technical problems. But I think at some point they intend to put a craft under that ice. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah. All right, guys, this is the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed. Please hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody.
Thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful day.